Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to a new episode of Talking Figures, Season 2, Episode 3, coming at you with a quite popular guest now. I don't know, some may think he's new, but he's been around for a little bit in the chats. He has now burst onto your YouTube screens with his YouTube channel and his Instagram at Figure Fight Club. Yeah, you can see him every Tuesdays live with the open mic and every Fridays with the basically Figure Fight Club. Does that show on Fridays have a name or is it just Figure Fight Club?
It's just Figure Fight Club.
Figure Fight Club, right? And
Yep.
you have compiled now some of the best toy tubers, if you will, or some of the most popular toy tubers. I hate using that term, but unfortunately, that's what we're called now. uh, and he has assembled quite the ensemble of cast that he's had lately on every Friday at 8 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, he is not just the president of the club; he is also a member. Please welcome Abhi of Figure Fight Club. What's up, bud? It's good to see you.
Yeah, you too, man. I appreciate you inviting me on.
It's an absolute honor. You've burst onto the scene quite quickly with the Figure Fight Club stuff, but you've been around for a while in other realms and other shows.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes, I was Figure Fight Club done too. It was just it took a little time to get the name up and out. But if you know, it's easier to promote yourself than it is to promote other people, I guess.
That is very true, but trust me, I'll tell you, I've done it now for a while and I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
I totally know where you're coming from. That being said, let's talk about you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you the same question I ask all the guests when they first come on to the program, and that is, what got you into collecting? When did you start collecting? And when did you know that it was more than just having a toy here and there? It was full on. Okay, this is now my hobby.
Dude, this madness started back in 2016. It was around my birthday in July, and a buddy of mine, I had gotten back into wrestling.
Okay,
And I connected with it was my wife's husband, my wife's best friend's husband.
okay,
Uh, so she, like, she introduced us, and he had all these Batman tattoos, and we kind of nerded out right there, just talking about his tattoos. And then I found out he was a wrestling fan, and I was like, dude, I was a big wrestling fan growing up.
yeah.
And so we started testing each other's knowledge on wrestling history. Eventually became really good friends, and yeah, from there, dude, like I was at his house for a pay-per-view, and his wife told him to go show me the man cave downstairs in the basement,
Yeah.
and he was kind of like shaking and embarrassed. And I was like, I want to see it. What is it? What's down there? And when I went down there, like my jaw dropped. I was just like, "What the fuck is all of this?" And then, like, he had a bunch of wrestling stuff in Batman, and I was just like I didn't know this was a thing, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, "This is crazy! Like, this is amazing! Like, we're going down the wrestling history, right, of a lot of these figures that were there." And then he gifted me a Legends series Eddie Guerrero because he knew that was my favorite wrestler of all time.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
and that's how he kind of started. Like, I wanted to open it, but at the same time, I didn't because I was like, "This is the only toy I have."
Yeah.
Then I bought more,
Yeah.
and then I
Oh.
bought more, and it just kind of it was a sickness, dude. Like it just like I started. My man cave downstairs like had at the time at least. I think it was like a nice couch. There was like two couches set up down there, like a TV, and like I had a big wall of movies. And
Okay.
those movies eventually had to go, and then the toys started going in there, and then it
Right.
was like a wrestling man cave at this point.
Yeah.
Like I had a whole like arena display and all that crap.
Hell yeah. So it was pro wrestling, huh?
It was
A
pro
lot of
wrestling.
Dude, a lot of times when guys come on here, they always tell me about the power of the force figures. It's always that
Oh.
that gets me started.
No,
I've
no, it was
never
wrestling, dude. It was
That's
crazy.
awesome to fucking hear. That's new. It's very new. I've never heard wrestling figures in a while because coming from the pro wrestling business, you would think I'd have just a shit ton of wrestling figures, but
Mhm.
wrestling figures is the one that I try to stay away from because I know that it's a steady slope. That once you start
Yeah,
going down that path, it's before you know it. It's like Jesus Christ, what happened here? And it's just like 20 Razor Ramones, 13 Shawn Michaels. It's one of those things
just
where
like my man cave, dude. Like seriously, it's insane. Like I have, just like you said, like 20 Razor Ramones.
yeah,
I don't have that many Shawn Michaels because I'm not that big of a fan of Shawn Michaels,
I
but
think of the Heartbreak Kid. Wow.
not huge. I mean Triple H I like, but
Oh
like
yeah,
Bret Hart Foundation.
yeah.
I have my segments, and then I have like the rosters and stuff like that.
Okay, that's right
But
on. Oh yeah.
it's it's been a trip for sure.
Now you said that you started collecting more and more and more.
Yeah,
What was the second one? A second line or second, whether it was DC, Marvel. What was it that kind of caught your eye? And you were like, "Ooh, these are nice too."
it was the DC actually, Mattel. I think it was DC
Oh
Mattel,
wow, okay,
and the
okay,
DC was a DC Direct line.
yeah, okay,
It was those, and then eventually it was Marvel Legends. Then Black Series came into the
yeah,
picture, and then it was like I graduated from wrestling, is what I called it, and I moved on to like more
yeah. I think
uh,
we all get there,
action
but
figures.
I started with because I would collect here and there. So like
Mhm.
for instance, like when the first Iron Man movie came out, it was in
Yeah.
2008. I went and I bought the Iron Man figure and
Okay.
the Ironmonger, so the bad guy and the good guy, and I just had them on a shelf. Never fucked with them, just left them there, right? Then from here time to time, I would see a Macho Man defining moments, a Hulk Hogan, exclusive, whatever the fuck, and I would
Yeah.
pick it up here and there because I was like, all right, I don't mind doing that. It wasn't until I went to my friend's house, and he was a big Marvel Legends guy. And
Uh-huh.
I'm a big Wolverine. Wolverine's my fucking guy. And I walked
Really?
in
Okay.
yeah, I walked into his house and he had when they had just done the Juggernaut wave. So it was the brown suit Wolverine. And he was just
Yeah.
on his shelf. And I just took him all like this and I went, "That's what they look like now, huh?" He goes, "Yeah, man, that's what they look like now." I said, "It's impressive." I said, "That's a nice figure." And I put it like this. And he goes, "Well, I got something for you." And I said, "What's that?" And he did the same thing that your friend did for you with the Eddie
Yeah.
Guerrero figure. He pulled out an extra Wolverine. And
Oh,
he goes,
that's
"Here,
cool.
I don't need this, man. Take it, man." And I was like, "For real?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm just telling you now. Don't blame me." It's literally what he said. And I was like, "All right." I said, "Whatever that means." A month later, I say, "What the fuck did you do to me?" I was like, "McLeod is still Marvel Legends." I was like, "They're everywhere now." Uh,
I know, dude. It's a sickness, man. It's like, dude. I mean, alone, like, I'm just looking at like four figures came in to my like, got delivered today, and I already own these fucking figures. Like, I already have them on my shelf, and
oh,
now I have
man,
more.
that's fucking crazy, dude. So, do you army build, or is it just like a completionist in you? Do you just complete teams? Do you,
Oh no, dude! I just buy. I have again like a really deep sickness. Like I just buy. It's like, oh, what can I buy now? What can I waste my money on? But I also sell. Right, that's one of the things. I
okay,
go to, we. I'm lucky in like in the state of North Carolina, we have some people, like a lot of collectors in this area. So they
right
started
on.
this NC Underground Toy Swap group
Oh,
on
wow, okay.
Facebook, and now they meet like monthly at this point, sometimes twice a month, at different toy stores, local toy stores, or around the state of North Carolina.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's a
And
brilliant move.
you buy, sell, trade.
Yeah. So
So
you got
it's been
whatever you need to unload, you can unload at least once a
exactly,
month at
yeah,
these prices. Oh, yeah, that's brilliant.
exactly. I mean, shit, you were talking about Wolverine. I sold three Mezco Wolverines today.
That's sick, dude.
Someone tagged me. They're like, "Don't you have like a bunch of Wolverines left?" I was like, "Yeah, I do actually." And like I saw, like I read the chat right on Facebook, and people were like, "Oh, I have some 130, 130." I was like, "Dude, 110 shipped.
Right
Done.
on, dude. Yeah.
I'll sell that." Because I've been sitting on it for like I have 16, or I had 16 of them.
Which
Uh,
one?
the deluxe Wolverine.
No, which suit is he in? Is he in the
It was in the yellow suit with the blue trunks, and
okay, the
then
blue
like it
helmet,
came with like the what's it called, the Sentinel like diorama piece.
fly around piece. Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice, dude. Hell yeah.
It's a nice Wolverine, but I mean, like I had a toy store with some friends that we shut down last year, and I was just like, I'm sitting on this inventory now.
Mhm.
It's taking over my master bedroom, and my wife has been nice
Patient.
to let me keep it. Yeah, patient to let me keep the shit here. But I mean, even I don't want to see it anymore. It's just like, dude, just get rid of this stuff.
Yeah, good fucking riddance, dude. I'm in the same boat, man. Like every time something new comes in, I'm like, what the fuck? Where am I putting this thing now?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, it's getting bad, man.
But
So
dude,
like, I'm at a point now where I'm building shelves.
mhm.
Whatever fits on there stays. Whatever doesn't, it's liquidation sale, man. Must all
Exactly.
must go. Yeah, it has to.
I
I
mean,
can't.
that, like I built this about 3 months ago. Got it built in. I didn't build it, but I paid someone to do it. But it goes all the way up to the ceiling, right? So you can't see the top part. But I put like all my McFarlane and Marvel Legends and some random wrestlers that I don't really want to look at that much. So they all go up here. But then a layer on top of that is a bunch of Mezcos, Cesare, and all this other stuff there, just high
Oh, yeah,
dollar value. They just
that's
get
sick.
tucked away at the top.
I
But then
okay.
it opened up so much space in my man cave. So I was like, oh shit, now like I have like 4 bookshelves emptied out now. So I was just like, I could put more toys here.
More toys, right? So now I'm glad you brought up all the fact that you have an array of lines. It's not just
Yeah.
one or two. Out of all the lines currently,
Hmm.
which one would you say is your go-to, your favorite?
See, I would say if like I would say Mezco are the probably the ones I like the most, or like
Okay.
even some of the third party ones. I like them all to be honest, but Mezcos are the ones I consider them precious.
So you gravitate to Mezco more. Dude,
Yeah.
buddy, we were one and the same at one point until they fucked me. I
Oh
would I loved Mezco. I loved the attention to detail, the soft
yeah,
goods, everything. Um, I always understood that by doing soft goods clothing and shit like that, it hinders articulation
yeah.
because as I came from the cosplay world as well,
Hmm.
so I understood that when you made a costume, you couldn't mobility was don't even bring it up. Like, because just be happy that you could fit into the thing and you can walk. And so as long as you could get into it and walk, it didn't matter having arm mobility. Make
Yeah.
sure you could just walk so you could take pictures. So like when I got soft goods, like my first Mezco figure was Deathstroke because I love
Mm.
Deathstroke, and I felt like they never really gave Deathstroke enough love in toy lines. They sometimes make him when they make him that old school one where he's got the weird like spandex costume on, which I'm not really into. I like
Yeah.
that Arkham Origins armored look.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
So and that's what we got with Mezco, I felt. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay. So I jumped off the cliff with them. That figure came, I was all in. So whenever
Hmm.
I could afford Mezco, I'd buy Mezco. And then Conan came and they screwed the pooch with Conan, bud. And then I didn't really want it, but I felt like I did never I don't know why, but Ben Affleck's Batman to me was my favorite. So I felt
Okay.
like I wanted a good Ben Affleck figure. I had the one with all the armor from
Yeah.
Justice League, which was cool, but I wanted a sleek one, which just like would look like the new 52 costume. And I knew that 3-pack was coming out, and they had Batman in it. Little pricey,
Yeah.
of course, but I was okay with it. Um, they put me on a wait list, and then all of a sudden take me off. It was like such a weird blunder, and I was like, "Yo, what the fuck's going on here?" And then they didn't like give me a good answer, so I was just like, you know what? I will never buy another product from you people again. Like I need you
Was
to
it directly from Mezco?
yes. Yes,
I
direct
mean, dude,
source.
they have so many vendors now who are resellers of Mezco, and they don't charge you until they get the item. They may give
That
you like a small charge.
but that's what I said to myself. I said, if I buy any of these things, because
Hmm.
another big thing with me was price tag.
Yeah.
The more expensive the figure, the less likely I am to even touch it, let alone play with it. You know what I'm saying? So, like for instance, I got the Hiya Toys Rambo in last year. Took him out of the box, checked it out, make sure everything was okay. Checked all the fucking weapons and whatever the case is. Swapped the head out. Literally put him back in the box with the fucking cellophane.
Hmm.
Then put it under my desk and never looked at him again. He hasn't even come out of the box since because in my head I'm like, fuck, I don't want to fuck these figures up. They're too expensive. You know what I'm
So,
saying? To me,
so
if
I
customer
am
service is
very
low,
similar that way.
all right. So we're the same way. So I'm like,
It
oh,
was at first, yes.
yeah,
When I so this is I've been through many iterations. So
okay,
collecting wise, I've kind of learned, especially more recent, like in the last year, I've changed a lot.
yeah, okay,
I used to be a all in type collector, right? Like if I was
yeah,
doing wrestling, it would be all wrestling. It would be Black Series, it would be all Black Series. It'll be like, and I would literally, if I left a line, like I don't want to do wrestling anymore, I would get rid of it. I'll
okay,
sell it all and get rid of it
wow,
out of my house. So I'm in my like fourth iteration of Black Series at this point. So like I don't collect Black Series today, but
yeah,
I've learned that if I get rid of it and the next nice movie or show comes out and I was like, shit, I want my Star Wars shit back now. I don't want to have to go buy all of it anymore. So I was like, I have dedicated shelf space now for all of it. One bookshelf for Black Series,
yeah,
one bookshelf. Oh, I guess all my Legends and Marvel stuff is up there now. But
right.
like, I've learned not to just get rid of everything.
Don't get rid of it. Yeah,
Just
yeah.
keep it, and get rid of stuff that like I really know I'm not going to go back to.
That's where I'm at now with my Marvel Legends. There's some Marvel Legends that I look at and I'm like, dude, you bought it in the moment because you felt like you had to complete the wave or like
Yeah.
build the figure. But now you're looking at this figure like you don't need Cloak and Dagger. It's one of those things where it's just like it's like some more small characters where I'm just like, you went down the rabbit hole so far that you're getting such obscure characters at this point. Like the weird one, the Strange Tales one that just come out.
Mhm.
My instinct, the knee jerk instinct was, oh well, you need Blackheart. And then I stopped and think, I was like, when did you ever read a comic book with Blackheart where you had to like, oh my god, I love this character that you have to complete that? That was just such a mental. That's just like a like you said, a sickness where you're like, no, get it, you have to complete it. You know?
It's you just wanna go spend some money, right? That's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
what it is. I mean,
yeah.
like, even with MCU and a lot of the movie like, just in general, like DC, what attracted me more was the movie figures.
Okay.
Like, the MCU attracted me to the Marvel Legends line
Well, that
because
was
I grew up reading some comics, but I never read complete stories ever.
okay.
I had like a random comic here or there. My comic stack was probably like this much when I was
Okay.
a kid.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't much.
Yeah.
My parents didn't want to buy me comics and all that crap, so it was just like, and so I had random stories here and there, but I'd never read a full story. It was
Yeah.
just through friends I would find out. So what attracted me, like I was collecting like movie and TV show based figures more, like hence wrestling. Then I jumped into MCU. Black series was all movie based.
Yeah.
So it was perfect. I was like, dude, I like this. It's like essentially reenactments of like famous scenes or just cool moments in movies and TV shows that I could do with figures.
Hell yeah, dude. Do you play with your toys? Do you do photography with them? Is there anything
I
you do?
used to do photography. I
Okay.
used to. I've been very lazy nowadays, to be honest with you. I used to take time out to do photography. I mean, I have like 12 extreme sets sitting in my closet right now.
Wow.
I mean, hell, at this point, like I use some of those extreme sets to just line up the backgrounds of some of those shelves. But I've been very lazy. This whole YouTube thing has taken a lot of time.
Buddy, tell
Yeah,
me about
yeah.
it.
Especially with like when you're doing it by yourself, right? No one's there to
Yeah.
help you, so you're just like, shit. Okay.
I got
Uh,
him. I'm running 2 channels. My wife is running 1 channel. So it's one of those things where it's like, Jesus Christ, man. It's like there's only so many hours in a day.
yeah.
Um, you don't realize like the one thing I didn't account, like I watched 3POA, Ninja,
Hmm.
a couple other guys, Jerk, right? And I started to kind of see like the way they live streamed, and I was like, oh man, I like that. I want to do it. I didn't at any point take into account how much time and effort it has to go into it. You know what I'm saying? I was just thinking like, oh, you just fire it up and ha, I'm live, But you don't realize that like it you suck a lot of hours. Like
Oh,
you're live streaming before you know it, 3, 4 hours could pass by, and you're like, oh shit, that was a whole chunk
yeah.
of the night or the evening or the whatever the fuck afternoon, whatever time you start streaming. So I totally agree. When you start to kind of jump off that content creation shit, whether it's running a lot, even just like I said, a live show. And then some of these guys, and I got to tip my cap to a lot of them, like they do the live streams and then they put the pre-recorded videos on top of it. So they'd like double whammy in that shit. So they're
Exactly.
preparing for their shows. And then on top of that, they're doing reviews, just talk pieces, uh, uh, stop motion, play motion, whatever it is. The
Yeah.
fact that you're devoting that much time to your live stream. Then on top of that, doing this kind of shit. A lot of people don't understand. Like my nephew really wants to get to YouTube,
Hmm.
and I told him I was like, don't think just because it's you on camera, you think it's easy because it's a lot of fucking work. So you
Oh,
should know that. Like,
I mean, there's a lot of time investment. Like
oh yeah,
that's what like even my wife, like bless her heart, honestly speaking, because she knows. Like after Warner, I was like, hey, it's a YouTube night, and she's like, what the fuck again? Like, yeah,
yeah,
unfortunately, and like she gets upset about it now because it's like it sucks me away from her, right?
yeah,
Because I'll go in my office. I have an iPad here. I have screens all over, so it's just it helps me communicate and do all the stuff. And then I'm at the same time, looking at my show, what I'm going to do on Fridays. Because
yeah.
Fridays is the show I plan out. Open mic night is it's the show I just shut off my brain and just go.
Just
Um,
hang out. Yeah,
yeah, just hanging out. But Fridays is the one I want to plan out and just kind of be a bit more organized as much as
yeah.
possible and like come up with good questions and concepts
Right,
and discussion based things. And so that takes a lot of time. And then
right,
on top of that, you're communicating with a bunch of people.
right.
Uh, like when I was launching Figure Fight Club, I remember I had a I was launching November 29th, and I had guests lined up every single week, every Friday up to like mid January or end of January or something like that. And that was a little too much. I felt like I was like, man, I have like 2 months worth of guests already
Right.
lined up.
You know what it is? Because you basically commit yourself.
Yeah.
And then you look ahead and you're like, "Oh, fuck." Like, I do the same thing with this. Like, every Thursday, I have make sure 9 p.m. I have a
Mhm.
guest lined up just so I can knock it out, so I can edit it during the weekend, and then by Monday, like, all these, like, I interview you today, comes out next Friday.
Yeah.
So I'm always ahead. God
So
forbid
the
I have to cancel, I can always kinda fill in. So I'm always
yeah.
kinda doing ahead 1 week ahead.
So that's
Um
actually a good idea because I remember Robo, the one I streamed with Robo. That was actually before I even went live for the first time. I recorded that with him like in like mid-November,
Mhm.
and it gave me, but unfortunately, it was like 4 hours worth of footage, and I was like, man, I could turn this into a two-parter if I
Right.
really
Oh, yeah,
wanted
for
to.
sure. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, I was just
Sometimes you
like,
got
okay, huh?
sometimes you got to. Sometimes, like, I noticed one time, I don't know what guest it was, but we were on here for 3, almost 4 hours, and, like, it wasn't like it was boring or anything, like, the conversation just flowed
Yeah.
that we were talking that long, and after I was done, like, that's the thing, and I don't wanna bring it back, but I do have to because I have the same type of wife where she's very patient. She
Hmm.
understands that I'm trying to devote some serious time to this stuff because I think that we could make a winner here if
Yeah.
we just put forth a correct effort, and she respects that, and not only that, supports it. So to have that, you need a good support system. So it's good to have that for sure. I agree
Oh,
with that
100%.
100%. You know what I'm
100%.
saying? Um, but for real, dude, like what you guys do, and like you guys inspire me. I always tell everybody who comes on here because, like, listen, we all know the pre-roll kind of goes off the rails very quickly. Like, I know that it's one of the like the staples of the pre-roll, but
Hmm.
I told my wife recently, I was like, "You know what? I'd kind of like to kind of reel it in a little bit, not maybe go too topical based, but at least have something that we could focus on and talk for an hour or two. At least
Hmm.
this way we're not by the end of it going, "What the where the fuck did that go?" Like that, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's funny when it happens,
It is.
but
Yeah.
I start to kinda get that's another thing, like, after I did the 3-hour conversation, I got off the thing
Mhm.
when I said to her, I was like, "No more 3-hour conversations." Like, I gotta reel it in, hour and a half tops, because not to say that the person isn't boring, but the person listening on the other end, they might tune out,
Yeah.
an hour and 45 minutes in, and we're just continuing going on, so I was just one of those things where it's like, I want a solid no longer than an hour and a half. Like, it was one of those things where you kinda learn the pitfalls as you go. It's the same thing with with live streaming. Like, as I went on, I started to realize it's fun when it goes off the rails, but I'd like to have at least this is where we're gonna try to talk about. If it goes off the rails, it goes off the rails.
Well, so the thing is, one thing, like, I've been on two other podcasts before launched Figure Fight
Yeah,
Club myself. But one thing I've noticed is, like, you really want to determine the chat. The chat really should tell you the flow of
that's
how
true.
everything is going.
Yeah, that's
So
very
if
true.
the chat's quiet and they're not engaging much, they're just kind of like blank. It's not moving. In other words, it tells you something. It's telling you a
Yeah.
story right there. It's like, listen, you need to change your topic like right away,
Mm,
or go segue into something else because this whatever we're talking about is not working.
yeah.
Uh,
I noticed that when you start to see them, and I've seen this in other chats as well as my own, um,
mhm.
when they start to just kinda engage with each other,
Yeah.
and they're not you no
Well,
longer
except for the highs and, if they start talking about random stuff and,
that's
like,
what I'm
you're
saying,
just
yeah, yeah, when you start to see them just talking about random shit, you're like, "Oh, they're not invested in whatever we're."
exactly,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, no, yeah, I've seen that a few times, and you're
So,
like, "Oh."
you learn from those things, right?
Yeah,
And that's how I look at it. It's lessons learned, and, it's funny because, like, being on 2 separate podcasts, and there's a lot of people who really wanna push their own agendas and their own things, and that's been always a issue as well. So I figured going in a sense, I call it solo, but it's really not because I have Illustrated Figs, Brandon. He's
mm,
like my little sidekick, my co-host. I stole him from my first podcast, technically. Uh,
but you
so
know what it is? Dude, you're kinda like me where it's like one of those things, you not that you wanna control everything, but you're more comfortable knowing that you're behind the driver, the behind the wheel. So in other words, like I like, I love having my wife on the show. I love having Felix on the show, but I need to be there to kind of, and I noticed this a couple weeks ago when we launched the wrestling podcast, Spot Monkey Radio, and I did it with my friend Mike and my friend Malik. And I said, "You guys will be the host. I'll be the producer, and no big deal. We'll just knock this out. It'll be bing bong, right?" Dude, even I stopped paying attention. You know what I'm saying? So so at the end of it, we got off the thing, and I told my wife, I was like, "I think I might have to be a host." And she's like, "Why?" I was like, "Well, doing talking figures, doing the pre-roll, I've
Mhm.
actually kind of learned how to steer the ship and to
Yeah,
kind of like set them up, like a point guard." I was like, "That's what I
yeah,
want. I want to, set up the pass, let them take it home and dunk it, right?"
yep,
So the next week, I hosted it and immediately saw the difference in engagement in the chats, like you said, and viewership. It went up. It went up real quick, and I was
yeah,
like, "All right," because the conversation flowed. There was no dead air to where people were like, "What are they fucking talking about?" You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? I wasn't gonna like tune you out or bore you or anything like that. Not to say people are boring. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying sometimes, like you said, you kind of
mhm,
go off and
yep,
not people just stop listening, man. So it, you know, it takes like I said, a skillful person. Sometimes I don't know if you're like me. Like I said, I need to be behind the wheel when we do shit like that because I need to know what the fuck's going on so I can steer the ship.
yeah. No, and I get that, and I mean, I don't know if behind the wheel is the right way to call it, but like again, I'm what's I wouldn't say a perfectionist because I already know I'm not. But let's just say like the next thing up to a
Yeah,
perfectionist. Like, I want to improve every single time. I want to get better
yeah.
every single time. And I want to push. I love the push. Like I
Mm.
want to challenge myself. Like
Oh yeah.
I mean, when I was with Plastic Journey, I think we made it up to like 400, or by the time I left, it was like 350, I think. When I left. We made it up to then. Action Figure Alliance, I just kind of figured it wasn't working out, so I left
Mm,
fairly quickly
yeah.
from that one. And then, just taking those experiences and just like, again, like being a sponge. And then not only that, but now you're on YouTube 20, like almost 24 hours a day, looking at everyone else's show, looking at the chat. You're studying. You're essentially studying, is what you're doing,
Mhm.
and you're studying all of it. And then you're like, okay, well, this is somewhat how I could get all these notes and all these experiences and put them up, and then I'm going to spit it out and do this. If it doesn't work, change the plan.
Yeah.
If it works, great. Let's make tweaks. Let's make it better.
Well,
Um,
I'm glad you
it,
brought
it
that up.
also it also helps bringing in high profile people.
Yeah, the higher the profile person. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, and I'm glad. Let me ask you this: how do you feel about the channel so far? Because now you've started it. You're on a quest to 1K.
yeah,
You're giving like prizes out when you reach a certain goal of a number of subscribers. I've noticed, right?
yep.
Currently, you're sitting at almost 800. Am I wrong or?
Very close to 800. I'm
Yeah.
hoping. We actually, it's funny. I want to give away a figure tomorrow.
Oh hell yeah.
I guess on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Uh, it's going to be a Frazetta Girl Vampirella. It doesn't get released until tomorrow, so I'll be picking it up tomorrow
Oh
to
wow.
give
Okay.
it out if we pass the 800 mark.
Oh yeah. So listen, you heard
Yeah,
that here. This airs. If it hasn't happened yet, this will air next week. So hopefully it
yeah,
already happened. But
exactly.
I think it will. Listen,
But
like it's shit like that though. Like you're gonna give a figure out that's coming out today or tomorrow. You're
tomorrow,
gonna give
yeah,
it out the day it's coming out.
yep,
That's pretty cool, man. You know what I'm saying? And not to mention you have great guests. Like tomorrow
yeah,
you're gonna have on Duarte
works,
Studios, who's
yep,
absolutely killing it in the diorama game right now. So, like I said, it's becoming like a Friday staple,
yeah,
almost,
and
and it
that's
became
the
that way
idea
for
behind it, right? Like
yeah,
I want people to enjoy, grab drinks, and tune
yeah,
in, and talk with the chat, talk with us, ask questions,
yeah,
engage. And that's what I want. I mean, Duarte is a good dude.
right.
He's definitely opinionated as well.
Oh yeah,
So he's got a lot to say, and that's what I want to bring that side of it. Because I've met Duarte. Like I met him at my first ever con I went to,
okay.
which was Legions Con 2022.
Oh, right on. Okay.
And that's where I met him for the first time. He showed me his cool diorama work. He showed me some of the customs he does. He even scanned my head.
Oh, right on. Yeah,
My first head scan is from Duarte.
yeah. Now, I was meaning to ask you. I'm glad you brought that up. Look at you, you're setting
Hmm.
it up for me right now. The head scan stuff
Uh-huh. I
is
mean, I
that
have it right here. Actually, it should be here somewhere.
now when someone would they take it? Yeah, they scan your head and then they print it out on a 3D. It would now do they retrofit it for a certain figure or is it like
It's scaled. Yeah, so
okay?
here's my head scan right here.
That's fucking awesome, dude.
So it's scaled, and then they obviously do the everything for you.
Okay,
It just needs to be painted now, and I suck at painting because I have even Brandon's head right here too, illustrated figs.
that's fucking awesome. Now, how did you
I,
get that done, by the way?
so we have a local guy who does head scans, 3D printing and head scans.
Okay,
At IshCon 2, he scanned our heads at the event, and then a few months later, he supplied the head scan itself. He only gives you 2 head scans, but
okay.
I knew the person he was using to do like the once you scan the head, it's not a perfect scan. Obviously, you can't look at hair and all that stuff. So he takes pictures of you as well, and then he sends it over to this guy who fixes up the scans.
Oh, wow, okay.
I knew the guy who did the scan, so I bought my I bought my scan, and I was like, "Hey, can I have the file?" And he was like, "Yeah, that's fine. It's you, so
Yeah.
I get it." So I bought the file. Then I actually have another 3D printer guy who gave me a great deal, $3 per head,
Oh,
printed.
wow,
So I found him. He runs a hobby shop that we go to a lot. So, I made the deal with him, and then he prints all my heads for $3.
that's fucking awesome.
Which is amazing. It's a
Yeah,
really good deal for that price range,
yeah,
right? So,
yeah, hell yeah, dude.
um, so I gave him my head scan like file, and I was like, "Hey, can you print a few copies of this?" I gave him Brandon's. I gave
Mhm.
him. I even bought Ishwar's, and I was like, "Here you go. Just
That's
print
awesome.
these for me." Now, like learning to do that stuff, I would love to do because just sounds fun. I just don't like doing the printing part because it
Yeah, the printing
smells.
part is not only that though. It's like a fucking it's so intricate, dude.
I know. Yeah.
One little mess up, the fucking whole thing fucks up. Because I
Oh.
journeyed into that and I didn't respect it enough, and it all.
Mhm.
So now I understand, I respect it now, but back then I was just like, you know, like a brash rookie, like I can do this, I got this.
But at this point, like you don't even need to because like there's so many people who do it. Like
Yes, yeah,
I bought a or I'm giving away a dragonfly at 1,000 subs, by the way.
hell yeah, dude.
HasLab, and the person who I got it from was like, "Dude, I do 3D prints. You're welcome. Whatever you want to print out, reach out to me. I'll print it for you." He lives like 15-20 minutes away from me, so I was like,
Yeah,
"Okay, perfect." Like I
yeah.
don't need to buy a printer because you have so many local people who have them.
Around, yeah, that's what I noticed that when I came into the community.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't really, like I said, I didn't know nobody, but I didn't know who streamed. I didn't know who's doing this. I just kind of started making just play motion videos because I was just having
Yeah.
fun with my toys and shit like that. And then one kind of took off, and it kind of like my algorithm then became nothing but toy channels. So I
Mhm.
that's how I came across Ninja. So I started coming across all these people. You know what I'm saying? And the one
Yep.
thing I noticed was how many guys had 3D printers. Like I didn't. It was one of those things. I just like, holy shit! All you guys do 3D printing, and they're like, yeah, man, whatever you need. So it was like, all right. So like it was in the same token. The only thing, and I don't know if you like me, I'm very impatient. So like one of those times where like I'll ask I got 3 printer guy to print my stuff for me, and they'll say, "Yeah, yeah, yeah," and then you'll wait and wait and then wait, and you're like, I need the thing. Like I need the thing. And it's just like one of those things where I was like, I might have to just get it again myself. I had one and I gave it away because I didn't, like I said, didn't respect it. So I didn't feel
Yeah.
like I deserved it. So I gave it away. And now I'm in the boat where I'm like, fuck, I'm making this diorama. I need,
The
like
part, this
some
piece, and
little pieces, yeah. And I don't want to fucking wait who knows how long for somebody to be ready to print for me. So it's one of those
yeah,
things where it is nice to know that many people do it, but because so many people know that these people do it, their fucking commission list is flooded with people.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
who
no.
want three things?
Well,
Want
you got to find people like Duarte who's got like 40 printers running at the same time.
you got to, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's where you have to find people who have multiple printers, not like the single or sometimes even double because their list gets behind too.
They get backed up real quick.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm in the boat where I'm just like, you know what? Let me try to make space. Let me get another one. My
Hmm.
friend has one. He's looking to unload because he doesn't want it no more. So I
Oh,
was thinking,
I'm assuming resin. You're going resin then.
yes, absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
See the smell, I can't handle it because I
Yeah,
walked
with that,
into a friend's house and I was just like, holy crap. It was like
yeah,
a punch in the face. It was like Indian spicy food. Like as soon as you walk in someone's house, so you get hit in the face. It was the
yeah.
same feeling. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, that melting resin or whatever the fuck it is. Has a very
Yeah.
pungent smell to it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Duarte, you say has like 4 or 5 printers going at the same time. What the fuck does that? What would that must smell like?
He's gotta be having some type of like to
Ventilation.
get rid of that, yeah, ventilation to get rid of that smell. It
Yeah.
has to. I mean,
Yeah.
I know when he does the foaming and like the foam work, he wears a mask. He was
Got to.
explaining that to us a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to. Because like when I was doing this shit, and as soon as you start burning it, I used to say this shit when I was doing cosplay. If you can taste the foam, there's a problem. Because there was times where I would stand stuff and completely forget to wear masks. And I'm not saying it's a smart idea. I'm not saying like I don't condone it, obviously, but like I would just go, oh my god, I can taste the foam. Like it
Mhm.
would so bad. I would blow my nose and it would be completely
Like
just
foam's coming out of it.
black. Yeah, just from the
Oh
foam. And
God.
shit like that. Yeah. So like dude, I completely understand. You got to be safe, man. For real, be safe.
Yeah.
Now you have a lot of toys. Let's get back to the toys real quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there anything in that collection that you would consider a grail piece, a thing that you would save after you save the wife and kids and the animals? Anything you can run back into the house, grab one toy off the shelf. What is the grail piece that you would run in and grab?
Just one or multiple?
If you have time to grab multiple, grab multiple. But what do
Okay.
you consider your top pieces in your
I would
collection?
honestly get the first Eddie Guerrero figure I ever got because I still own that figure today, and
Right
because
on.
that's a sentimental piece for me. I have done a five best figures in your collection, and that was one of them
Oh yeah.
because it was sentimental, right? That's the value behind it. This is the figure that got me into collecting and got me into the world of toys.
Yeah.
So I that would be probably the one figure I saved first, just because it'll be the reminder.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, I have Lone Roach Gomez, the samurai one. That's
Okay.
one I call that a grail. Uh,
Yeah.
let's see, I have a Joker Mezco as well. It was the first release Joker with like the green or the purple suit, but I have a nice Jack Nicholson head popped onto it, which looks just like Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
That head is amazing, and that's like my definitive Joker. So
Oh yeah, dude. That's awesome. Okay.
yeah,
Those are two very good picks, by the way.
yeah. Uh, dude, honestly, anything else could burn down. I don't care.
I'm getting there, but like I used to have these things where I'm like, no, I have to have all this. If I lose it, and then my wife made me realize they're just things, man. They're just things,
You
they
could buy
burn.
them again.
Yeah,
That's the thing. You could buy them again. Half the
yeah,
shit I have, you could buy them again. It's money. It's not life.
yeah.
And
Uh, here's another question I got for you
mhm,
from the toy perspective. What do you think of some negatives to the toy collecting? Whether it's bullshit, money, space. What do you
I
think of some
mean,
of the
space is
negative?
always an issue.
It's always
Always an issue, and always will be an issue. But one thing, like more recently, this is more for toy tubing, I guess. Dude, how much there's drama in the toy community.
a
It's
lot, man.
insane. Like I was literally having a conversation with someone else earlier today about this, and I was just like, I don't get it. Like,
Mhm.
don't you guys have enough drama in your lives? Like without this community? Like
I said to my wife, I said, "Yo, I left pro wrestling because I was trying to get away from this shit. It's driving me back to it. Like I'm going back. I'm doing podcasts again about pro wrestling because I'm like, oh, this is too much, man. Like my thing is like what brought me here was the fact that I could meet people with a common interest,
mhm,
and that's all I focused on. I didn't focus on anything else, and I still to this day, I brought this back because I wanted to talk to more people because I wanted to get to know more people the way
yeah,
I did with the first season. So to me, I was just like, you know what? Like, if people want to follow that kind of stuff, if that's how they want to make a name for themselves, if that's how they want to get over, go into business for themselves, right? We're going to use wrestling terms, right?
yep,
Then, man, I'm happy with where I'm at. So I like if you're gonna consider like let's play this like a pro wrestling card, Abhi. All right.
mhm,
I'm on a part of the card where I'm happy. I'm happy
mhm,
with my position on the card. I ain't complaining to the booker. You know what I'm saying? So I carved out my little gimmick, my angle on the show, and they got me in a spot where I'm very happy. And I ain't fucking. I'm not rocking the boat. I ain't starting no problems. I don't give a
yeah,
fuck. I just want to be here. And I always say this: I don't want to be the best player in the game. I just want to play. That's all
exactly.
I don't wanna fucking come here and say I'm the best, I'm the greatest, I'm better than everybody else, or I'm smarter than everybody else. No, I just wanna play. I just
But
want to have fun.
it's not even like so the conversation I had earlier was about passive aggressiveness, like passive aggressive jobs.
Okay.
Like, was it necessary or needed? It wasn't. It
Mm,
was, but again, the question though is, are they trying to start shit or are they just they're gonna play the card like we didn't say anything because it was very
mm,
passive aggressive. Now it wasn't towards me at all,
yeah. Yeah.
but I was there to see it and hear it, and then I was questioned about it because they saw my name in the chat. Um,
Mm,
but it was still the concept of like, yeah, it was said. I don't think it was that bad. Like, I don't think there was like any like direct jabs, but there were
yeah.
definitely passive aggressiveness going on. Uh, but it's still necessary. It's like these are toys, dude. Like, and that's how I'm looking at it. I was like, dude, like you're fighting with like you want to fight about this?
I think sometimes, dude. I think sometimes tend to forget that's what it's about because
Yeah.
we whether we feel our manhood is challenged, whether we feel something is said out of context, and now we have to say something. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
I don't know, but
I
I,
it
I
just doesn't make sense to me.
no,
Like, it
I've
really
gotten to a
doesn't.
point where I'm just very happy with where the channel is, where the channel could be headed, and
hmm
that's all I want to focus on. I just want to have some fun. I said this on the Wake and Bake. I want you to come here and know that you're just gonna kind of giggle, laugh, maybe learn something, or
Yeah.
just like listen to this, like nice banter between two guys just talking about something that they both like. I don't want you to come here because you want to bring popcorn
Yeah.
and dish. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not about that. So,
I mean,
I'm in the same boat, bro. Like to me, the biggest. If you ask me what the negatives are,
mhm,
I would even talk about it because I don't want to be associated with it. So I would say the same thing you said: space, money. You know, but I
yeah.
always bring it up because it's one of the most prevalent problems I've noticed in this little space.
hmm
Is if we just got out of our own way. I think sometimes we wouldn't have any of these problems. That's just all I could say about it. I don't like to psycho. I said this. I said this to I think Laser Pants. Sometimes I psychoanalyze, and I shouldn't. You understand what I'm saying? And it's
Yeah.
one of those things where it's like I'm not gonna fucking sit here and psychoanalyze because I don't want people to go, "Who the fuck do you think you are?" You know. So I'm just like one of those things where I keep my mouth shut. I'm very happy with the slice that I carved out, so I don't
hmm
want no problems with anybody. You know.
I mean, that's. I mean, honestly, it's just my thing is like very plain and simple. It's just like I don't. I'm still trying to figure out why.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, like there's so much crap going on in the world today,
Oh yeah.
and you guys are fighting over toys. It's like, what's the point? Like, they're
There is
action figures, you know?
so much shit to be more worried about right
Exactly.
now. Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
by the time you and I get old, Social Security might be gone. That's a problem.
That's a big problem. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You need to be focused on that shit right now. 'Cause
Exactly.
in our
That's what you.
lifetime, it could happen. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but those are the things. Adults understand that. Some people don't want to get it up here.
They don't want to, yeah, comprehend that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's again. I just feel like people need to grow up sometimes. I know we're all people who play with toys,
Yeah.
but we do need to grow up a little. We are adults collecting toys. We're not
Yeah.
children collecting toys.
I said
So
that to my wife. I said, this may be a toy channel, but I still do. I'm a grown ass man. I take
yeah,
care of mine. I make sure my wife is good. I make sure my family is good. Pay my bills. I do what I need to
exactly.
do. That comes first. This I play. Like I play with toys. Live stream and I act silly. I'm trying to
Yeah,
cut loose. I'm trying to let go. I don't want to think about real problems. That's why I'm here.
exactly,
So I don't want to come.
exactly.
Yeah, I don't want to come here and now I got a problem here. I don't want a problem here and now I'm here and there's a problem. I don't need that bullshit in my life. That's where I am mentally. And
Yeah,
sometimes I assume you're the same way. You just
yeah,
sit there
hundred
and go, why
percent.
can't we all be there? Why can't we
Yeah.
all be there?
No, but the thing is, like, my wife has seen me. Like, I used to have jobs where I was working 70, 75 hours a week.
Jesus. Oh yeah.
I would live in the same house as my kids and
Yeah.
not see them. Like, it was to a point. It got really bad for a while, but
Yeah.
then like just last year or in end of 2023, uh, I finally made that decision to just be done and leave. I quit my job I was at, and I was given a great role at another company. They were like, "We can't pay you higher than this." I was like, "That's fine, dude. I'm good
Yeah.
to do. Like, you guys match my salary. I'm good."
Yeah.
But what they did say was, "Be you don't have to work 70 hours anymore." I was
That's
working
big.
40 hours. I went to 40, and
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what to do with myself anymore. Like
Yeah.
I was like, literally, I was like, I have so much time on my hands. Like this, like additional 30 hours a week now. I get back.
Yeah. That's
I
a
could
lot of
sleep
fucking time.
longer,
Hell yeah.
and I was like, shit. That's why I started YouTubing. That's what drove it. I was like, shit. I have time now. I could do this.
Hell yeah. Yeah. I can, and it shouldn't deter you away from it. Like, don't get deterred. If you want to try this, try it, man. Because, like I said, I was saying this to Zakanan. Like he
Hmm.
was saying, I don't know if I wanted to do this. I really wasn't into like the whole being like a personality on YouTube. I said, but yeah, but try it. If there's something deep down going like, yeah, yeah, do it, do it, do it,
Hmm.
then try it. Because don't not do it, and then like years from now, you're like, fuck, man,
I should have done it.
I wish I would have gave it at least one shot. So
Yeah.
try it. If you like it, you continue. If not, you just pack up shop and say it was worth a shot. It was good, and then now it's done. You know, listen, we did the production stuff. Clearly, we're almost done with it now. Like there's like a little
Hmm.
couple jobs here and there, but we had to make a decision: continue to work for bullshit and feel like shit, or stand up and say this is how it's got to be, and if nobody comes, nobody comes, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we did. And let me tell you something: I'm happier doing this than I was the other way.
Yeah.
So it was the right move. You know what I'm saying? So always try, just do it, because in the end, your mental health that that's a big fucking deal. A lot of people tend to kind of bury it because well, we're men and we have to, and I
Hmm.
understand that to a point. But sometimes, man, you got to do what's right for your mental health because it's gonna just slowly kill you within like
Oh,
you
dude. What my wife again, like being one of those people who wants to support me with everything. Um, she saw me go through the stresses, right? She
yeah,
saw how stressed out I was. I mean, I was literally on calls at 1 o'clock in the morning,
Jesus,
where she would come into my office, literally this office, and she was like, "Who the hell are you on the phone with?" I was like, "The CEO," and she's like, "What the fuck? It's 1 o'clock in the morning." I was like, "I
yeah,
know."
yeah,
I was like, "I know," and that this was like a daily thing, and then finally just making the switch and getting I felt like guilty for making the switch for a little while, like internally, because I was like, I feel like I'm not striving to be the best that I know I can be.
yeah,
I should be working harder and trying to go get like a higher salary and all this other stuff. But I stopped. And I stopped honestly for my own being, and my
yeah.
wife absolutely loves it today. I love it today because of the fact that I slowed down and just enjoying myself now. Like no more
What
working
happened was
crazy hours.
you literally stopped to smell the roses. Is
Yeah,
basically what
and
happened.
just no more working like a crazy person,
Yeah,
and like spend time with my kids, time with my wife,
hell yeah.
and then like when I like log out of work, I don't go back to it. I don't like I'm on my work laptop, and they know what I do, and my CEO's like, yeah, do it. I don't care. Use your work laptop. Don't buy another laptop.
See, that's cool. Like I said,
Yeah,
and that's what happens. Look what happens. Like the sacrifice for the pay and the hours are the peace of mind and the generosity that the guy is like, yeah, go use this computer, man. I don't care.
yeah,
Like I said, it's worth it.
it is.
My wife constantly says to me, "Money can't buy you happiness," and I always hit her with that Bobby the Brain line. Give me a $20 bill and watch me smile, right? But she, it is true. Like you got to find at least time for yourself, whether it's with family, whether it's
Mhm.
this, whatever it is. You can't just devote all your life to work. Because I was telling again, I hate to keep bringing my wife into this. I love you, babe, but uh, she I told her like, we can't make YouTube work. This has to be fun. Because if
Yeah,
this becomes the job, then the same way, like you just said, dreading, oh, fuck, I got to go to work, then that becomes the driving force for this.
exactly.
And in a month, we are done. It's just done.
Mhm.
So, like I said to her, I was like, you want to stream, then stream because you want to. Don't get up and sit in front of that computer and stream because you feel like you have to, because then it starts to feel like work. I was like,
Yeah,
so always remember, you need to carve that shit out. You don't want to stream today? Don't get mad. Oh, fuck, I'm not putting any content out. No, because your mind needs to shut the fuck down and
yep.
relax. Go sit down and relax. Don't go crazy. Like the one thing, like I always say, this shit has to be fun.
No,
I
100%.
noticed most successful ones, they look like they're having a blast.
And so that was, every single precursor to the podcast I was on. I was like,
Yeah,
listen, the day I stop having fun, I'm out.
it has to be. Yeah, for real.
And that's really what I said to them. And when I stopped having fun, I was all right, guys, I'm out.
I'm
I
done.
left every single time. Uh, This one is a little different though because it's under my own umbrella. But
Yeah,
again, like the whole concept of the whole figure fight club thing was I just like I'm drinking during my shows, right? You see that. Shit, I'm drinking right now. Uh, but but the whole concept and the idea was like it's like you're gonna it's like it's no different than I go to a bar or to like a restaurant with friends and we're just kind of in a circle chatting with each other about random shit.
yeah, hanging out.
That's the feeling I want for the
Oh yeah,
shows, and that's really what I want for the shows. It's just like the random. You'll have a guest randomly start making stupid jokes, and then you'll have random people in the chat saying stupid things. But that happens at real places
yeah,
when you
yeah,
go out, and that's very normal, and that's fine, and that's fun. Um, but the whole idea was to make it. I want the feeling of like, hey, I'm hanging out with a bunch of friends at a bar or a restaurant,
yeah.
and we're just chatting.
The first
That's
thing,
the
listen,
idea.
buddy, the first feeling I got when you graciously invited me onto the show,
Mhm.
and thank you for that, was I felt like it was a club. Like I felt like you started a
It's from
clubhouse. Like
the lights.
every no, yeah, yeah, yeah. But it was like a clubhouse, like that all toy collectors
Mhm,
could that want to be a part of can come to and be themselves and chat it up. And you had like eclectic mixes, like it was me, you, Killustrated, and Articulated Ninja, and then I think Laser
mhm.
Pants kind of dropped in. It was nice. You
Yeah.
had like the little, I was calling them run-ins, like wrestling. I was like, oh, you got to run, But
I call them the surprises. The
yeah,
I have
like
random surprises drops,
it's
yeah.
like, and I said I said this to my wife one time. I said, "Abby's got the WWE mentality. Like anything can happen here in the World Wrestling Federation. Like, you never know
You
who's going
never
to
know. You never know.
happen."
I
But
mean, even with open mic nights, like
yeah,
Sharnum has jumped in not once but twice in the same show.
that's good, man.
D
Hell yeah,
D Amazing came in randomly too one time, so like it's fun. It's fun to see that, right? Like
hell
like
yeah.
people get excited for that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Well,
we always try.
I'm glad you brought those two names up because I'm going to need your help trying to get in touch with them because I've been wanting them to come on this program for a while. But when
Yeah,
I get done with
definitely.
this, I'm going to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
But that being said, let me ask you a couple other off the top of my head
Mhm.
questions about toys.
Yeah, yeah.
Currently, you see what's coming out in terms of the Maximum Series Spider-Man,
Mhm.
and what else? Do you think that this is where we're headed in terms of price points? Do you think things are going to start getting much more expensive, much faster?
Yes. I think this was a testing of the waters from Hasbro, and I mean, shit, Spidey sold out in Hasbro and Amazon right now. So
That's bad. I already,
it's.
yeah,
I mean, I already knew it was gonna happen. Like I knew he was gonna sell out because again, it's Spider Man. That's one, and then it's also the first maximum line. And but you also know half the time scalpers picked up multiples just so
oh
they
yeah,
could resell it. So I mean, that's a very normal thing in our world.
yeah,
But that's very true with any line, though, right? Even Mescos. If you go to Mescos, they're very high dollar value things, but a lot of these scalpers pick them up and they sell them.
yeah, yeah.
We're just going that direction.
That's what I'm worried about because like I was talking to somebody today, and I told them, you know, what I'm worried about is because this whole thing with their transitioning and going to focus more on video game, whatever the fucking case was. I'm worried that what'll happen now is we'll get less toys, but they'll be like this, like a maximum Daredevil or a maximum this, and then
Well,
it'll be like
I still
spread
think
out.
they're gonna. I think this selling at $50 gives you the idea that a regular legend can sell for 30 or 35.
That's fucking mind blowing because I will
And
not spend that on that. No.
the thing is, this is like testing of the waters, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I mean, there wasn't that much extra accessories you got from this thing.
No. Yeah, no.
So it's not like this is anything. I mean, honestly, I mean, again, I'm not a big Hasbro guy, so this isn't very special.
Yeah.
you know,
I said
they
like
made you.
I said to them today. I said if you would have offered like they used to do the Toy Biz ones, like a
Mm,
diorama piece that you can maybe hang on your wall or stick on the shelf, and then like maybe like a corner of a building, like they used to do, where you could have them doing
mm,
that pose. Then maybe I could turn and go, all right, well, they added like a shelf piece, like a display piece for it.
yeah.
So figure, bunch of accessories, and a display piece, $50. Okay, I'll bite, But the fact that it's just the fucking Marvel Legends figure, really, honestly, with a couple more points of articulation, and then
Mm.
just a couple extra hands with some webs. To me, it's like I get that Mayfex is $100. I get that SH Figure Arts is $100, and I get that yours half the price of that. But if you're
I
gonna
mean,
tell
even
me,
SHF is not that much anymore either, though.
no,
Like
yeah, but even
I bought a bunch of Spidey for like 50, $60.
That's what I'm saying. So if you're going to tell me that this is now going to wind up, the cheaper ones are going to now have to come up because this is that. I can understand you selling me on the fact that, well, this is only half the price of those Mafex figures. Then I'm like, all right, that's their logic. If you want like a cheaper version of a Mafex, buy this
Hmm.
maximum bullshit. But if this leads to Marvel Legends being $35, I think toy collecting, I don't want to say come to a screeching halt because obviously you have the nut jobs that will don't give a fuck what the
Yeah, I
prices
was gonna say you're gonna have
are.
those hardcore people.
But a
They have
lot
a
of
name, right?
people,
Hasbro's, the
yeah, a
Hasbro's.
lot of people, it'll sway them away. And I've already said this, gone on the record of saying this. I already got all the Marvel characters I need. So if you're going to start jacking the price up, I'm already like, I already got 10 Wolverines and Punisher and Iron Man. I don't need a new version of them and for $20
Yeah,
extra. So
I
fuck
mean,
off.
you could also just wait till it hit Ollie's again.
And exactly that. We
Yeah,
just waited out and played a long game with you fuck faces, right? And you're going to keep raising the price. No one's going to buy the shit.
exactly,
And then I'll go to Ollie's and buy it for $17 or $12, whatever the fuck it's
dude.
going to be.
I think the last Marvel Legend I bought, it was recent, not recent. Yeah, maybe recent. Not counting the Ollie stuff because I buy a lot of that for like
Okay.
customs. But in like full price was probably the Wolverine.
Okay.
From Deadpool and Wolverine movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the one before that was that one like really good head scan of like I don't know her name to be honest. See, I don't even know her name. I just like the figure, so that's why I bought
Yeah.
it. It was like I don't know what the hell her name was. It was like blonde hair with like the thin mask around her eyes. Great
Oh,
head scan.
oh,
She
oh,
looked like Miss
Miss
Marvel.
Marvel? Yeah, it is Miss Marvel.
Is it Miss Marvel?
Yeah.
It had a different name to it though. Uh,
Captain, fuck, Moonstone or some shit like
yeah,
that.
some shit like that. Yeah, I don't even know the name. I just bought the figure because I thought it looked great. At least
Yeah.
the head was amazing. So I was like, I
Yeah.
want the head. So I bought that, and I knew that was going to be a hard figure to find.
Yeah.
So when I saw it, I was like, I'm buying this like
Yeah.
right away.
Now, I
But
just heard you say you're into you customize figures. How long you been doing that?
dude, ever since like wrestling, actually,
Yeah.
when I first started wrestling stuff, I mean, I don't custom like create. I don't have any here. Actually, I have one. Let me go grab it.
All right. Cool. Like I said before, man, you guys can find Abhi over at Figure Fight Club on YouTube and Instagram. That's Figure Fight Club.
I mean, I don't paint. I don't do any of that stuff because I'm
Okay.
too lazy. But like, I'll kit bash the shit out of stuff. So this is Selena Kyle or
From
Celine from
Underworld.
Underworld. Yeah.
Where'd you get that? Is that a head sculpt?
It's
Art?
3D printed. It was a 3D
Yeah.
printed head sculpt, and it looks amazing. And then I make. I'm a big fan of Mezco, as you know, and
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
DC stuff. So I've been working on like I made a Ra's al Ghul. I used a
Nice.
McFarlane. I used a McFarlane head, and
Okay.
I put it on a Mezco Ninja Golden Skull Ninja body. So just
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
give him the ninja attire, you know, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
give him the sword. I made a Black Manta from one of the Black Spartan Krigs.
Oh, right on.
I used Mattel Black Manta head and got it on there, and like that's markered up the little thing in the middle to make it
Yeah.
red, and then gave him some cool weapons.
Oh yeah.
I made a Bane from a Triple H body.
Nice.
Put some pants on him, give him a nice tight shirt, put that that movie Bane coat.
I could. Yeah.
But I got it from GPS lot, the coat, and then I used McFarlane head.
Okay.
And it looks like he's a little bit taller than the rest of the other Mezcos because it's
Yeah.
like it's more I would call it movie accurate, I should say.
More. Yeah. It's more
Yeah,
scaled correctly, if you will.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's like my definitive Bane now in my collection, but it's like I call it Mezco-fied because they're not like they're like Mezco style, but some of them aren't Mezcos.
Okay.
But like a bunch of them, like I have a Jim Gordon I used to make from Constantine.
Okay.
Uh, then I made a Stanley from Constantine. I had like 5 or 6 Constantines because the buck was perfect. So
Okay.
I think I'm working on a Mr. Bean
That's
from
great.
from Constantine.
Yeah. That's fucking great, dude.
So just
Uh,
random stuff, man.
hell yeah. What out of all the third party lines right now,
Hmm.
which one would be your I don't want to say favorite because we've already done that, but like
That's a lot
most
to choose from third
yeah,
party
like
though.
right now, like because I like Valaverse, I like AWOC. I'm
Hmm.
starting to dig Savage Crucible. I just dipped my toe into that one. Obviously Brutal
Savage is
Realm
good
is
too.
yeah, Brutal Realm is coming up the pike.
But those are I call those more like a third party. Was I was referring to more like Japan.
Okay.
who
Okay.
make the non-licensed stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
what I'm. But like the independent, the toy makers.
I have heard.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of Valaverse. I remember too actually because I remember I first got into Valaverse and then absolutely hated. It was the first like one of the first toys I had to blow dry, and I freaking hated it. I was like, why do I need to blow dry this toy? But
Yeah.
then like today, that's like I told my wife, I was like, listen, you get yourself a really nice blow dryer, a brand new one. I'm gonna take your old one because as a toy collector, I need to own a fucking blow dryer now. Uh, that's the new thing. That's the new thing this day and age. You need a blow dryer, and that it sucks, but it's the truth.
I said that
Uh,
too. I said, "What the fuck? Since when do I gotta heat up a figure to play with it?" And
yes,
then I started to realize, oh well, because the action figures are not for kids no more, dummy. They're for you, and they know that
yeah.
you have man strength, and you're gonna try to bend this thing and rip it right off at the fucking hinge.
Uh,
So that's why they're asking you to heat it up.
I mean, the funny thing is, Mescos you still don't really have to. Like
No,
you'll
yeah,
get the random Mesco that you may have to.
yeah.
Even like the Valaverse stuff, the new plastic on Valaverse, you don't really have to heat it up. The old ones, 100% you
Oh
do.
yeah, yeah.
The new ones though, like it's been decent. Like especially the Swarm Tracers. I have like 12 of them back there. I
The
love
green one,
that.
right? Yeah,
Yeah, the glow in the dark green ones. I love that one, and like it's just butterly smooth.
yeah.
But it just really depends, right? Uh, even some legends, I had to hit it with a blow dryer.
I don't think there's not one figure or at least line wise that at some point I didn't have to hit with either hot water or
Yeah,
a heat gun at some point. Because listen, some of them come out of the package and they're just like smooth like butter, and you're like, "Fuck
yeah,
yeah!" And then there's others where you're like, "Whoa, what the hell happened here to this thigh or this thigh swivel or the knee or some shit?" Um, but like I said, you just said, you become an avid collector. Eventually, it just becomes like
it's
standard
the normal.
practice.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, like
like when you have to heat up a Mesco and you don't have a blow dryer, you put it in a Ziploc bag and dump it in hot water.
hot water, man.
You learn all the stupid tricks that everyone else has done.
Yeah, for real. Did you at all jump off the vehicle cliff, or were you smart enough to not do that?
No, I'm an idiot. Uh, I missed. I had one bat. I gave it away on my show.
Okay.
Um, I had three. I had three stingers. I gave one away, and I opened one for myself. And I have shit. Maybe I had four stingers. I don't remember at this point, to be honest with you. Uh, I have two more stingers upstairs, and I have one open down here in my office. But I plan to give one away
Oh,
for
right
sure.
on. Oh yeah,
And
dude.
then I have the his tank that's sitting below this. I have a little bottom shelf down here that no one can see, where I'm putting my parking lot essentially. But I have a his tank down there right now, which is still in the box, unopened.
Yeah.
I have four vanguards in my master bedroom, like in a. It's between my wife's dresser and my TV area, but it's like a perfect little nook that just squeezes right in.
That's crazy.
So I have like one of each color. So I have the pink, the. I think apparently I got all muddy at Jolenta. So I have a pink muddy one, a gray muddy, and a tan muddy. Then I have a from the recent like surprise or like mystery box stuff. I got
Yeah.
a gray regular one.
Oh wow. Hell yeah,
Yeah.
dude. That's impressive. I didn't know they
Then
were giving away Vanguards in the mystery boxes. That's cool.
you have to buy the Vanguard ones
Oh, okay. Okay.
that had a Vanguard. Yeah, and then dude, like so I in my man cave. You've heard of Grown Ass Men Toys?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I did a toy room tour with them. So
Oh, yeah.
just on Sunday. So you have to like I have a like a little couch, just like a little small room couch, right? Right now, I'm looking for like a leather recliner to put in the middle of the room, and I could and that like twists that goes in circles, like spins
Yeah.
around. So I could just because all four of my sides have something to
Toys
look
are
at. So that's what I want, and I want to get rid of that stupid couch. But like even right now, the couch is pushed up against the bookshelf, so you can't see all the stuff down there at the
okay.
bottom shelves. And I have like two or three or four Batmobiles. I have two in my closet Batmobiles as well that I haven't opened yet.
Wow.
I have a lot of random stuff, dude,
Yeah.
just sitting
Yeah.
around. Like you'll see that if you see that video, you'll see like, dude, if you go to my laundry room, Literally, no joke. You walk into my laundry room, you walk in, and then you open the cabinets of like two of the drawers. You'll see like wrestling figures and like other stuff like just slotted in there. It's
That's
literally like you can pull it out, and like that's why I'm just like it's too much.
yeah.
Like I have toys in my laundry room, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's too much.
Did you you didn't jump off the ramen razor eraser? Did you get one
I
of those?
haven't yet. I haven't yet.
Mm,
I want to, but at the same time, I'm scared to.
mm.
Just because like I don't have the space for all this stuff. Even like the damn four vanguards, I don't have the space for.
So
So
four
I'm just like,
Vanguards is crazy. Yeah.
so I was just like, I don't know what to do with all of this stuff. Hence why I have toys in my laundry room.
Yeah.
But like even like at this point, I have like a giant BBTS box sitting in my wife's closet, and like it's too much.
It
Like
is.
some of it is too much. It's just like, what am I doing? Like just like this. I have like 8 boxes, or like when I say that, I'm not talking small boxes, right? Like we're talking about like the big, like where you could get an entire like there's like 24 I think like Valaverse figures fit in there. I
God
have like seven of those boxes filled with toys of Valaverse in my master bedroom. I have a Roboskull head box sitting right on top. I have like a random box of random shit with Savage, GI Joe, signed by Sarge, by the way.
Oh yeah.
uh and just random stuff just sitting around. I'm just like, I don't have the space to put them on like a shelf or display them, so I have to get creative. And like, is it's getting to a point where it's just like, do I need to buy this much stuff, or like is it just me having a sickness and being stupid?
Dude,
And
you start to question whether like, are you a hoarder? Because
yeah,
that's what happened to me. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm starting to question, dude. I have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. I have 10 boxes sitting right here. Four of these damn boxes showed up today. And
10.
I'm just
Crazy.
like what the like I don't even know why I bought this. This
What
is
is
the
that?
this is the you know they released like the those little sexy figures like the bunny girl.
Oh, okay.
This is her vehicle, and I was like, oh,
Oh,
it's
that's
on
what it is.
sale for 20
Yeah.
bucks. Let me buy two of them.
I
Why
told
did
her.
I buy two? I
Well,
mean,
I'm glad you said all this because this is gonna bring me to my next question. How long do you see yourself collecting? Do you see a shelf life, no pun intended, or are you collecting until the wheels fall off?
honestly, that's a good question because I really don't know. I'll the day I stop having fun is when I'll stop. But at the
Okay.
same time, though, like my older son at least is turning into a collector, and he's
Oh, okay.
starting to see some of the bad qualities that I see in collecting sometimes.
Yeah.
Because like I mean he's 8 years old, but like I'm like, hey, go play with your toys. He's like, I play with my toys. Like, dude, I don't see you play with your toys. He's like, yeah, because I only play with them when you're not there. But then I was like, okay. And then to my wife, when she says the same thing, he's like, I'm like, Dad, I'm a collector. They're posed up on the shelf. I was like, motherfucker, no, no, you play with your damn toys.
Hell yeah. Listen, I tell my wife all the time, I was like, I gotta play with these things. If I'm gonna pay them, if I'm gonna pay for them, they're gonna come to
Yeah.
this goddamn house. They're gonna get used. I'm gonna get my money's
So
worth.
like I'll twist stuff around and things like that. But I don't like sit there and like I'll play fight with my kids and stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
But they don't get to touch the expensive ones.
Yeah.
Um, but like I'll pose stuff and like dude, I take figures with me when I go on business trips. Like
Yeah.
even this one, like like this was at that 5K Sub Zero,
Yeah. Oh shit. Is
and
that
it
the
was
one
a
that
piece.
people didn't like?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like the original restrictions, like this isn't the same. I'll show you why in a second. The original one was like this; it would only go this far
Oh
because of
wow.
the pants. But I ripped the pants off, and I put on different pair of pants. But now you could see it go like this.
Oh,
It
now you got
has
full.
it actually has really good freaking articulation on the
Yeah.
body. So now the hands is another problem because they don't like to sit in these little nubs that are sitting over here. So I got to
Wow.
figure out that next. But I figured out the articulation. Now he articulates like great, but his joints are still a little loose, which I mean that's a little kiki. We'll fix that. But the hands is what I'm worried about next now.
And you got that
Once I
off
get
eBay?
figured, yeah, I got it. I mean, dude, I bought two of them, and the other one I haven't even opened yet.
Oh wow.
Um, well, I was upset until I switched out the pants, and now I'm just like happy. I was like, at least we know the figure has really good articulation. Um, it's just the what they chose. It's
Yeah,
just literally what they chose to put on the clothes with him. Like there was no
yeah.
give on the clothes, and he couldn't articulate because of it.
That's my biggest worry about when I
Yeah.
buy stuff from 5K because it's so expensive, and you're just like,
Well, I
"Fuck."
mean,
I know
dude, I
that, like,
just bought two fit. See, again, a problem, right? Problem.
yeah.
I just bought two figures from 5K around 8:30 p.m. today. I was like, oh, I want this. This looks great.
Jesus Christ, dude. That's fucking fantastic, man. Before I let you go, we got to talk a little bit about pro wrestling.
Of course.
Uh, so you've said you've been a fan for a while. Are
Hmm.
you still caught up with it, or is it something that you let go? Do you still enjoy it?
I mean, dude, honestly, it's kind of hard to find. Like, I watched the Royal Rumble.
Okay.
It's hard to watch the normal shows.
Yeah,
Like I like watching like YouTube because it'll give
yeah.
me the play by play in like five
Abbreviated
minutes or
version.
10. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, but ever since it went to Netflix, I try. I just got to get the time to watch it.
Gotta get yeah, get it. I get totally
Yeah.
understand, that, man. And so far,
Uh,
like, I'll tell you this: if you find time to watch it, I think you won't be disappointed in terms of WWE. It's been very good. Like I said, I'm enjoying
so
it.
I haven't watched this past Monday, but I've watched the other ones.
It's good, and like I said,
Yeah.
like what they're doing with Kevin Owens, that was pretty good stuff.
Hmm.
I definitely dig in where it's going. I haven't been like this into wrestling in a while, where I like
Hmm.
the road to WrestleMania is the one I always kind of pay attention to because it's always the best storytelling going into the biggest show of the year. So you always want to watch this part. And so far so
Well,
good. I always
this is also special too because this is the first year without Vince McMahon.
exactly. That's
Yeah.
the thing that I wanted to see. I wanted to see this Triple H era
Yeah.
started last year WrestleMania, and so far going into this year's WrestleMania will be his first full calendar year as the Triple H era. I
Yep.
just want to see how good it's been so far, and I gotta say, I'm liking what I'm seeing. And this
I do too.
because
Yeah.
he made me care about the run. Not even that, he made me care about Survivor Series with the Bloodline
Mhm.
versus the New Bloodline. Then he made me care about the Rumble with all those guys in it. Now he's making me care about Elimination Chamber because the winners go to fight Cody, and
Yeah.
now I'm gonna care about WrestleMania. So if it's one thing he's doing, he's making people care again,
Yeah.
and that's a big fucking plus to pro wrestling. So
Well,
I'm
that's
very
huge.
happy with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Definitely very huge.
but I
Yeah.
definitely at some point we have to have just a straight wrestling conversation, whether it's a watch along. We have you come on the other channel and we
Yeah.
watch along a pay per view or some shit like that. We were thinking, um, I don't know if they said Elimination Chamber or WrestleMania itself, but we'll figure it out. I'm gonna let you know because I want you to come on by, and starting tomorrow, I'm gonna be doing this thing called Fantasy Booker. So at
Okay.
some point, I want you to come on. Maybe we'll fantasy book a card or some shit like that together and
That'll
have
be
a
fun.
time with that.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Dude,
uh,
that reminds me of a game I used to play back in the day when I was younger. It was called EWR. I
what's that?
think it's Extreme Warfare Revenge. Yeah,
Okay.
Extreme Warfare Revenge. It's a free software, right?
Okay.
They upgraded the software to like the paid version, but they couldn't legally use any of the wrestlers' names.
Oh, okay.
When it was free,
Free. Yeah.
they could legally use the names because you're not making any money now.
Mm,
Uh, so they released this thing. I used to play it all the time. It's like you're a booker.
okay.
You're literally a booker, and then you join this company. Like you could either create your own company and then hire indie wrestlers or wrestlers, depending on the size. You
Yeah.
could go global scale like WWE or New Japan, or you could do like indie or regional, or like national and stuff like that, like different regions
Oh
essentially.
wow, that's cool.
And you could grow throughout the game, right?
Game.
You
Yeah.
have the ability to grow, and then you could create different characters, and you could, or you have like rosters from like WWE or from
Yeah.
TNA. You could they actually have like updated roster packs you could download. Like as of this date, you
Ah,
could
that's cool.
download like a roster pack and then
Yeah.
upload it in there, and then you could play like there's like 7 slots for game like different booking games you can play. But it's
That's
actually really fun because
yeah.
if you're hardcore into wrestling like how I was when I was younger, like it's one of those games where you have X amount of money and you could like try to buy people and people have
Yeah.
like randomly have issues. Like
Yeah.
Big Boss Man always ended up going to rehab for me. But it was just random and it was fun and then they even had like they even had issues like with personalities. Like oh
Yeah.
HBK doesn't like Bret Hart, they don't want to work with him. stuff like that would show up, and then you had to like solve that problem. And then they had like meters where, like, if they had meters in the sense if they were happy or not. So if they weren't
Yeah, yeah.
happy, they would eventually like leave,
Leave the company. That's
or want to cut their contracts,
yeah.
and or requesting to be cut and
Yeah.
moved.
Well, I don't know if WWE took that because in their new game with the general manager mode the last couple of years,
Uh-huh.
it kinda has that kind of functionality to it.
Oh,
I'm
that's
gonna
cool.
buy
Okay.
I'm gonna buy the new one this, was it next month, I think it comes out. So I'm definitely gonna get the new one because I wanna do that. I wanna do just like you did. I used to do this with WWE 2K all the time. I would
Hmm.
go into universe mode, take all the wrestlers out, create all my the because I used to run a wrestling company, so I
Yeah.
would create all the guys. I create all the guys that I trained, all the guys that I know, and then I would just run like weekly wrestling shows or whatever the fucking case may be.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but the last couple of years they took a lot of stuff out of that mode. Like you couldn't put in promos no more. You couldn't do some stuff.
Oh,
So
that's weird. Okay.
yeah, I was like, "This is bullshit," so I just stopped getting the game. Now I found out that not only did they update the system, but now they put all that shit finally back in for this year's
Hmm.
game. So I'm like, "Alright, now you got my attention again." So I'm gonna do that again on this channel too. I'm gonna start making, like, wrestling companies and shit like that. So I'm gonna have a blast doing that
Yeah.
stuff. Like I said, I'd love to like I said, if you're interested at any time.
Yeah, definitely. You should check out that game. That
I
you'll
think I
like it.
will. I think I will.
Yeah.
'Cause I like
You
the way it sounds.
you'll like it because it's interesting because like they have like different, each wrestler has like certain meters as well, like the
Yeah,
charisma level, the like the ability level, and what type of
yeah, yeah.
wrestler they are and stuff like that. So it was interesting for sure.
Hell yeah, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to hang out with me,
Hey,
Abhi,
I
for real,
appreciate
man.
you inviting me here, man. This was
And,
fun.
I'm looking forward to running into you again at cons. I met you at Legion's Con. You were a
Yep.
gentleman. You were nice to me and my wife, very respectful. It was absolute pleasure to meet you in person and to talk to
You
you for
too.
the brief
Yeah,
time I talked to you. And again, thank you so much for letting me come on to Figure Fight Club.
of
I
course.
appreciate the fact that every Tuesday you let me know, hey, open invite, come on if you want to come on open mic. I appreciate you.
Yep.
Um, like I said, I would love to chop it up more with you. So I always, at the end of these, I always let people know you got a friend for life here with me, and
I appreciate that.
I will at some point have you back on here, and we will do more talking, whether it's wrestling, toys, whatever
Hmm.
the fucking case was, because we got a lot done today. We talked a lot about a lot of different things, and it was, like I said, it was an absolute blast to talk to you. But thank you so much, man.
Yeah.
So I
No,
appreciate it.
hey, thank you very much, Tony. I appreciate this.
You can see Abhi over on his channel at Figure Fight Club, as well as his Instagram at Figure Fight Club. Like I said, every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, he does the open mic where anybody within the chat, he'll have the link posted. If you want to come through, tell your story, meet people, be friendly, it's there, the open forum. It's fantastic. And then, of course, he has the Figure Fight Club on Fridays, Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m., where he has some guests on. Him and Illustrated Figures. They talk the world in toys. So make sure you go over there, give him a follow, and let's get him there to 1,000 already. He deserves it, man, for real.
Dude,
So
that's the biggest push. I mean, the only reason I'm pushing for this right now is just because YouTube told me I needed 500 subscribers
yeah,
and 3,000 watch hours to get members, to
yeah,
open up members. And as soon as I hit that, I was like, "What happened?" And then I found out, oh no, we changed it
they
in
changed
20.
it.
They changed it in 2025. Apparently, it's now 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours.
Whoa! So they upped the ante.
Well, the funny thing is the last 3 episodes or 4 episodes gave me like 1,200 hours
Yeah.
somehow. So I was happy about that.
You know what it is they count every person who comes through, and if the longer you stream, it just
Mm,
counts to, like, the hours. It's crazy how it works. There was one thing where when I needed to push through the watched hours,
mm,
that was a driving force to go live. 'Cause I
interesting.
noticed that the subscribers only come from, like, pre-recorded videos. You get a lot of subscribers from pre-recorded stuff where
Hmm.
putting up play motion stuff and talking figures. That was getting me a lot of subs, but not many watch hours. And then all of a sudden, I started going live, and one afternoon after I went live for, like, 3 hours, I checked the watch hours, like, 2 days later, and I
Hmm.
saw a noticeable jump in the watch
Yeah.
hours. I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" And then that's was like, "Oh, I see the ticket now. Subscribers is pre-recorded shit, and your watch hours is your lives. I get it now."
So,
So that's
so
when
you're telling me I got to go pre-record shit?
yeah, for buddy, I'm telling you, like, this is
Yeah.
what I can give you a little secret, and I guess it's not gonna be a secret because 'cause it'll be on the show here, but what I'm gonna start doing with the wrestling show on Fridays is
Hmm.
I'm gonna chunk out a piece and then repost it as its own video.
Okay.
So if you do something like that on Figure Fight Club on Fridays, maybe somebody
Mhm.
like there's a section of the interview where you feel that's a good 20 minutes, chunk that shit out and just make it like a post on your thing. You know what I'm saying? If
Okay.
you see something that is within the news feed right then and there, fire up your camera, record it, and post it because
Okay.
that'll get you your subs real quick. I noticed. So if that information helps you in any way, I appreciate. I
I mean, I'll definitely see. I have to do. I'm traveling soon, so I'm going to be missing a few Fridays.
okay.
So I need to pre-record it, and the idea was to do pre-record segments and like the Robo thing. It was all
Yeah.
pre-recorded, so kind of the same concept, but
I
I
would
don't want
highly
to edit.
recommend doing that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely do that, bro, because it'll help you with the subscriptions. Like I said, you guys, I'm watching. I'm watching.
Hmm.
I'm there every Friday, whether I pop in or because the one thing I will say about all these streams is it's great to have on when you're working on something or you are doing something else, and you have
Yes.
you guys on in the background, have me on in the background. You can just kind of chime in when you want. Um,
Yep.
but I watch you guys do very good numbers view wise for being fairly new to this. So to
Hmm.
me, it's a no-brainer, dude. Put some pre-recorded stuff up and the barrier that's in your way right now, you'll fucking knock it right over, no problem. But for real,
Yeah.
because
No.
you guys are interesting and talented, and like I said, you got my attention every time you guys come
Well,
every time I get
I
the notification.
appreciate that, and thank you for the advice.
No
Shit,
problem.
and now I'm gonna figure out what to pre-record.
That's it, dude. Yeah, you got to find your thing. I noticed, like I said, Jerk does the lives and he's got the reviews. You know what I'm saying? So
Well,
it's
that's the funny thing.
random.
I've tried reviews, and I am not good at it, like at all.
I buddy, I did the same thing. I tried to sit here and review an action figure, and I'm like, even I don't want to watch this.
Yeah, and I was like, "Man, like, this is what I sound like? Ew." It's like, Jesus. Like,
For real, dude.
it's not fun, but, I mean, I think I just have to twist it in a different way, like, the way
Yeah,
I would, like, play with a figure,
yeah,
and I think that's really what I need to do, and
yeah.
because I won't be as professional as all the other guys, but, like, "Hey, here's a quick segment of get to know this figure," and maybe I'll do that. So the figure I pick up tomorrow, maybe I'll do a review of that.
Quick, do that, yes, because that's brand new and it's just
Yeah,
dropping, and get
I'm
that in.
probably the first one who will
Hell
get
yeah,
it in hand.
that's what I'm
So,
saying. So if you are the first one, I highly recommend doing that because that'll get you what you need, bud, for real.
mhm.
So, that being said, Abby, again, thank you so much for coming
Hey,
through.
thank
Thank
you
you
for
guys
having
for
me again.
watching. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate that as well. And as always, we'll be back at you next Friday. We're talking figures. Until that, please keep playing, everybody. Take it easy.
Peace.